And usually you get the thought of like, oh gosh, I can't do it, right? It's the revert, it's the actual imposter syndrome. Like they're doing it and I can't for whatever reason.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
But I didn't have that. Mine was the opposite. Mine was I'm sitting there in the audience going, holy crap, if these people...
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. Man, we got a legend in the game today. Justin, what is happening, my friend? How we doing?
I'm doing well, and I just found out that we're like 30 miles from each other, and we should be doing this in person.
We should definitely be doing this in person. We just found this out, which is kind of hilarious. But nevertheless, I'm excited to have you on here. And it's such an honor. You got your first condo back in 2010. And now you're up to 1,200 units. Like, holy cow, my friend. So times have changed. You started off doing, 1, 2 at a time. And then by 2018, you're up to 20 units. Then you figured out this little thing called OPM, other people's money, right? You started syndicating, you started really developing some more systems in place, helping out a lot of people along the way, and 1,200 units today. Pretty powerful stuff. What's cool too, what you brought up to me, not just the lifestyle, not just, faith background, the giving back, the mindset that has taken you this far, but just the things that fell into place as you were growing and scaling, meaning like your own podcast, right? That just fell into place. The education platform that just fell into place because you're helping out a lot of people. And then you saw the need of a lot of people having questions and needing help related towards, syndications, related towards multifamily investing. And so now you're here, which is awesome. So we get to be blessed with your experience and hear more about your background. But for anybody out there that doesn't know who you are, where you're from, do you mind just giving that 30,000 foot view for myself and the listeners?
Sure, yeah. And, credit to you, man, and everything you're doing and your listeners. I mean, definitely give him a 5-star review on all the podcast platforms. We've been watching you for a while and your growth is incredible. So, I mean, just listening to what you guys are doing and your audience, it's incredible. So I appreciate you having me on for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly where to start. I mean, I have a vast background that can help people. I mean, I believe in just living life through servitude, right? And helping others because the law of reciprocity pays itself forward 10x anytime you do that. And just being a person that gives, and then by no anticipation of receipt, just the universe does wild things, man. It really does. I kind of grew up in the real estate industry a little bit, learning from my grandmother, and then my grandmother passed that on to my dad, my dad was kind of that transitional character for us and our family. That person who makes it big and, never went to college, right? Was never formally educated, but just had that inner drive, probably from my grandmother and other folks.
Yeah.
And took it and started as a real estate broker, but said, enough with that, man. And I want to go and build things. So he was in that build and sell game. And he started with single family homes like a lot of people do, and then got into subdivisions where he was building, 200-300 homes.
Wow.
And then it went into big complexes where he was building 200-300 condos, townhomes, and then some apartment complexes and stuff all throughout the Western United States, and did really well.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very good at making money, but he was also susceptible to losing money.
Sure.
Because he was never formally educated on, not to over leverage, not to over speculate, not to focus on cash as king. And so because of that, he'd make a ton of money when markets were great.
Yep.
He'd also lose his ass when markets were not.
Yeah.
And so his income would literally mimic real estate cycles.
Yeah.
And that was fine for him. He could live in that. But I watched it happen, right? And my brother and the sister and all of us. And granted, we lived a great life, but he also, taught us the value of hard work, the value of a dollar. We were never spoon-fed with anything. He'd always literally make us work for it. I mean, I'll never forget growing up on his job sites, and he'd make us go out there and like dig ditches.
Yeah.
Right. And then have us put pipe in them and then cover them back up.
Right.
And then I'd ask, like, what is that going to do, Dad? Where's that going? He's like, I don't know. He said, I just taught you to dig a ditch, though, and you learn the value of hard work, and here's a few bucks for it.
Yeah.
And then to say, hey, if you don't go to college and learn, then you get to do this hard grunt work for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Right. So it's just the teaching lessons thing of the value of hard work and $1. So you never take anything for granted.
Yeah.
And then learning how to give back and help others. But kind of watching that happen. And then the financial crisis came. Right. And I don't know. How old were you when that happened?
I was graduating high school 2008.
Okay.
So,
Did your family go through that? Did you guys go through any hard times in the financial crisis?
I grew up American poor, so very blessed, but a lot of, Social Security and Section 8. So I didn't feel it or see it in my area at all. But so it's kind of eye-opening. The more I got into real estate, 2011, I started hearing more about it. And it was like, oh, wow, other people are really struggling.
Yeah, and you're right. You could have been in it or not in it, depending on age and what you're around. But yeah, I watched my dad pretty much everything collapse.
Yeah.
40 years of career, go up in smoke. And, he'd been through 3 previous cycles prior to that one and made it through it.
Yep.
But the financial crisis was so violent and so rapid that, he was, like I said, over leveraged and not focusing on cash as king.
Sure.
So when that came and it was so violent to where you couldn't even catch it, it's like catching a falling knife.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally remember it was April 8th, 2008 at 8:35 in the morning. Like a lot of eights.
Yeah.
Right. And he walked into my office because I was working for him at that time, closed the door, came in, sat down, and proceeded to tell me that the banks just got off the phone with the banks, and the banks were shutting everything down. And I said, well, they can't do that. And he says, I know. I told them that too. And then they told me, sue us. Everybody's going down, get in your corner and, muscle up. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. Wow.
And then, I mean, you only had, some cash, but you're going to burn through all that cash pretty quick.
Yep.
And then you have to make very drastic decisions. And he had to shut everything down.
How many properties did he lose at the time? Do you recall?
I don't know about properties. All I know that it was a $60 million bankruptcy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
At that time I knew, he had about 20 million in assets and, a decent amount of that liquid, but not, maybe 30% of that liquid.
Sure.
The rest, but $80 million in liabilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't catch it, right? It's so violent. It's happening so fast that you can't catch it. And it all went up in smoke, man.
Was there anybody else in the family that was doing any real estate, or was it really just your?
I mean, we were all doing real estate. I mean, like when I came out of college, I didn't go to family and be like, hey, Dad, where's my job? I came out initially and went into the title insurance business and kind of earned my way up through that and made it on my own. And, I wanted to kind of do that first. And then, when the opportunity did find itself, I went in to work with my family company, for a few years until it imploded.
Yep.
And my brother was in it. My sister, everybody was in it. I mean, my dad's the only one that had to file a bankruptcy, but I lost a lot of money at that time too. I had it in his investments, our investments. I was able to kind of scrape through that. But as a result of that, I became an asset manager.
Wow.
For a lot of the major banks at that time. So I went from development construction into working for the banks as an asset manager, handling all the foreclosures.
Oh yeah.
Around the country.
Yeah.
And we are handling Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, EMC, Chase, B of A, WAMU, Countrywide. I mean, you name it, right? All these guys.
All of them.
And getting rid of all their foreclosures. I mean, it was a complete S show.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lot about how the banks think, about how they react to things, how irrational they are. And that lasted a couple years until I kind of said, well, I kind of saw the needle moving from foreclosures and stuff, REOs and foreclosures, into what they call short sales.
Yep.
Right. Which is essentially it's a distressed asset, but the homeowner still owns it.
Sure.
And they're just basically getting an agreement to sell it for less than the loan on it.
Yeah.
So I had my real estate broker's license at that time. So I jumped out in the real estate broker world in San Diego.
Yeah.
And we're doing a ton of short sales. I mean, and I was the best person for it. I just came from the banks.
Yeah. Come on.
I could walk right in and sit down on the couch with the family and say, okay, how many loans you got? Who are they with? How are we going to get it negotiated? And we negotiated crazy amount of short sales for about 2 to 3 years from pretty much 2010 through 2012, 2013.
Yep.
And then it turned into traditional real estate.
Yep.
And did that for about 7, 8 years. All the meanwhile, like I was talking earlier, we started buying our first rental property, which was a $100,000 condo in Murrieta, California.
Come on.
And we put $25,000 down with a $75,000 loan.
Wow.
And that was our first rental.
Yeah.
And from there, we got into some duplexes and fourplexes and kind of built this mini portfolio of 20 units, all with mostly our own money.
Yeah.
Not knowing how the game is really played, like how the money game is really played. Because we didn't know what we didn't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started seeing these things for syndication and raising capital and, you know, other people's money, OPM. But I was scared to death. I'm like, I don't know how to raise money. I don't know what syndicating is. I don't think anybody would give me any money, first of all.
For real, right?
You know, and this is somebody who came from real estate, right? I mean, I watched my dad raise money and I watched this happen. I just didn't connect the dots.
Okay.
But then, like, I think everybody has like a defining moment in life where, you know, the financial crisis was definitely one of them.
Sure.
But then fast forward a little bit to that in 2018, after we'd kind of built a little bit of a portfolio, you know, you start to see like, okay, am I doing everything I want to do in life? Am I where I want to be?
Yeah.
Is this
taking inventory of everything? Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I'm here in my, you know, late 30s going into early 40s. And is this everything I want?
Yep.
Right. And then, you know, certain things happen that like change that perspective on life. And so in 2018, and I don't know if this has happened to you or anybody out there, you know, you lose a loved one. And for me, we lost my sister.
Wow.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. And it's devastating, right? She's 46.
Yeah.
And, you know, lost her to autoimmune disease and stuff. Yeah. And it's crazy because you sit there and you're like, you know, it goes, you don't know. You just don't know. It could be tomorrow. I mean, we see it happen all the time to amazing people that you just don't know when your time is up.
Yeah, we're not promised tomorrow.
We're not promised anything.
Yeah, anything.
So it gets you thinking like, you know, the time is now.
Yes. Come on.
Right? You don't know. Time is now. And so you could sit here and twiddle thumbs and be on your deathbed at 80 years old, having to have a conversation with your 40-year-old self and telling that 40-year-old self, dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't go for it. I had the shot. I had the shot and I didn't take it. And so that kind of for me was that moment. And I'm sitting there taking inventory and I'm going, you know, I want to grow. I want to scale. I want to do big things.
Yeah.
And I'm not there yet. And I'm holding myself back, like almost artificially.
Yeah.
And so literally, I'm kidding you not. I'm scrolling through Facebook and I come across an ad for a syndication conference. Come on, lo and behold. It's like these phones listen to us, right?
Yeah, right.
And I start laughing, but I'm like, you know what? Screw it.
Sign me up.
Hit it. I booked my ticket, right? Booked it out there, $3,000, right? Expensive conference, but I paid for the best seat, best ticket to get in the front row.
You got it.
And booked my plane ticket, and I'm like, I'm going. And this is out in Boston. So I fly out there a couple months later, go to this conference.
Which conference was this?
What's that?
Which conference was this?
This was Dave Lindell.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah.
But he runs, you know, syndications and apartments and stuff.
Yep.
And I fly out there, go to this conference, 3,000 people. And of course they do an upsell to their programs and stuff.
Yep.
But I'm sitting there in the audience and everybody has this imposter syndrome stuff, right? Where you're like seeing people do great things and you're like wondering if you could do it yourself. And usually you get the thought of like, oh gosh, I can't do it, right? It's the actual imposter syndrome. Like they're doing it and I can't for whatever reason.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
But I didn't have that. Mine was the opposite. Mine was I'm sitting there in the audience going, holy crap. If these people on stage can have all this success, and I'm not saying they weren't the sharpest people in the room.
Sure.
But they weren't the sharpest people in the room.
Yeah.
And they're having like 1,000 units and 500 units and and I'm going, dude.
Yeah.
If they can do it,
yep,
this guy can do it.
Yes, come on.
The only thing holding me back is the 7 inches between my ears.
Yep, amen.
Right? It's me telling myself these ridiculous stories as to why I can't do it.
Yeah, so good.
And what I need to do is just get to the edge of the cliff and jump off.
So what did that
show up?
Yeah, what did that transition look like? So after that event, you got the motivation. You're like, shit, if they can do it, I can do it. Let me do this thing.
Yep.
And
You have to start the process, and it's literally the same process I teach today, right? I mean, I'm going to teach exactly what I did and what I do every day. Is that first thing you got to do is find good deals,
Sure.
right? Then you have to analyze them, determine whether or not it's a good deal,
Yep.
right? And then you have to work on the offer and the finance capital structure, all of that. Then you got to close the deal, and then you got to manage it, right? It's like the 5-pillar method.
Yep.
So I come back home after that conference, and I said, okay, well, we want to syndicate and get into bigger apartment deals, but we certainly can't do it in California because it's $4 million per unit here.
Yeah.
So now we got to go out of state.
Okay.
And I'm going, I'm scared to death because now I need to manage things out of state. It's not even in my backyard.
Now, did you,
So
let me ask Justin, did you actually build out a team when you were doing this too? Or, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
but the step one was getting a good broker locally in the market.
Yes. Yes.
So you get on these websites, whether it's LoopNet or Crexy.com or CoStar.com. And step one is I don't even use those websites to find good deals because none of them are on there.
No.
Right? You use the websites to find brokers.
Yeah.
So I was using Crexy.com to find 3 brokers in a market. And the first market I looked into, because I was talked about it when I was out at the conference,
Sure.
is Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. And so I basically started looking in that market, found 3 different properties that I thought were interested with 3 different brokers, made the phone calls to them, had a little, small talk, set up appointments to then fly out.
Yep.
And I set a 3-day, kind of reconnaissance mission
Yeah.
to see 3 deals with 3 brokers, meet with 3 property management crews and 3 construction teams.
Let's go.
And I'm out there for 3 days and I tour 3 properties. I shake hands with 3 different brokers, made some rapport. None of those deals made any sense. It wasn't the point.
Yeah.
The point was to say, hey, Mr. Broker, look, I'm going to buy in this market. I'd love to buy through you.
Yep.
I'm sure you have deals you're working on off market or pre-market right now that you can probably shoot to me. I can get on your email list. I call it your preferred list. And that way I can start seeing more deal flow that's coming on pre-market.
Come on.
And then I met with 3 property management crews because they connected me with the property management companies out there. The brokers were my way in.
Yep.
Connected with 3 property management crews and I interviewed them. And then they interviewed and they had connections with 3 construction teams because they obviously, the property managers have the contractors. So I met with 3 contractors and interviewed them. And then they had connections with 3 local lenders in the market. So then now I met with 3 lenders and got connected with 3 local commercial banks in Missouri.
Wow.
So now I had local lenders, local contractors, local property managers, and local brokers.
Yeah.
So now the mini team is in place. And then now once the deal started flowing across my inbox, we locked and loaded on a couple of them. And I got our first deal, which was a 27 unit in Kansas City, Missouri in 2019.
Wow. I love that. How many units was that again?
27 units for my first one.
units.
So we always tell people if you're not in the space yet and you want to get in the space, and I don't care if you're a 9-to-5er working for the man or your current real estate investor who's maybe done a couple rentals or flips or wholesales or whatever it is, step number 1 is you got to get in and you got to find the market first, right? So you select your market, then you get in with the brokers and stuff. So that's the process I just told you about.
Yep.
But you gotta lock and load and you got to go.
Justin, when it comes down
Stick in the 10 to 30 unit space.
10 to 30 units.
10 to 30 units for your first 2 deals.
Yeah.
First 2 deals, then you can scale up. There's too many people out there trying to teach investors, people that have never done it before, to go after 50 plus unit deals for their first deal.
Sure. Yeah.
And I understand why. I mean, the economies of scale, I get it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a ass backwards approach. So
usually they say, like, depends on the numbers, but roughly about 80 to like 100 units or more, you can afford to have the management on site and be able to handle everything.
Yeah, it depends on the market because in Southern California and San Diego, you can afford the PM with about 25, 30 units.
Sure.
You go into the Midwest or anywhere outside of kind of coastal zones,
Yep.
then you're dead on. And I would even argue you go into markets like Texas, it's probably about 150 units before you can truly afford a true management on-site team, leasing, PM, maintenance, like everything locked and loaded correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so when you're at under 30 units, that's a lot more management. From my understanding, it sounds, and I'm flying blind here, so correct me if I'm wrong, it's a lot more self-managing to a certain degree, but even with those numbers, you still could afford to hire a management company handling everything?
Yes, but they're going to be off-site. Correct.
Sure.
So, so you're going to hire an off-site property manager who's local in the market and has accessibility to people right there. They can get to the property relatively quickly.
Yep.
It's kind of that mid-tier property manager. You know, this is why you don't go smaller than 10 units and ideally no more than 50, but 10 to 30 is that sweet spot.
Sure.
Because it's going to allow you to deal with more mom and pop brokers, right? To get the deals, because you don't have to be some resume on you because you're a newbie.
Yeah.
So they're expecting you to be a newbie. So more mom and pop brokers, mom and pop sellers, mom and pop lenders who aren't expecting to have some massive resume and real estate owned portfolio.
Yep.
So you can actually take a deal down and control it as a general partner, which is the head honcho.
Yep.
And do it yourself with a couple other people bringing in OPM, other people's money. And this allows you as the syndicator on the deal to probably come out of pocket 30, 40, maybe 50,000 out of pocket and control the deal and run a 30, 50 unit apartment complex. No problem.
I love that. Tell me more about the finances, because you just spoke some light on how to actually find the deals, finding and networking with the brokers, getting the other contacts and resources, start building out your team and finding those locations. Now, once you have these deals locked in, actually dialing in this financial piece of it, what does that look like? You know, was FICO score and situation? Was it something that's needed? Tell me for some of the listeners.
Yeah, I'd say the great part about it is it's easier to get $1 million to $1.5 million commercial loan on an apartment complex than easier is it to get a $200,000 house loan.
Yeah.
And then people, they're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I said, well, it's because you're not looking at how the bank looks at it. I said the bank looks at it as a business.
Yeah.
Right? The apartment complex is literally its own operating business. It has revenue, expenses, and this thing called profit or net operating income.
Yep.
That net operating income, as long as that is sufficient enough to pay the mortgage every month, the bank is going to basically chuck the money out the front window and hit you in the forehead.
Yeah.
Now, you just need to make sure you're not a fraud, right? So, FICO score, they're not looking at you primarily. They're looking at the property's financials.
Yep.
You are secondary in their underwriting. So as long as your credit score is probably over 600, you have some reasonable liquidity. And if you don't, there's ways to partner up to get that liquidity.
Yep.
Because they're looking at the property, right? The property's the thing getting the loan, not you, right? They just need to make sure you're not a moron. So that's kind of, at the end of the day, just don't be a fraud. But if you have a 600 credit score and some basic liquidity, right? Like I said, you need to bring some capital to the table. It doesn't have to be a lot, but somewhere in the 30 to 50,000 range is ideal. And then you can bring in the rest through other people's money and partnerships. The key is having a good deal.
Yeah.
Right. And when I say a good deal, it's got to give investors at least a 14 to 20% per year return on their money. If it can produce 14 to 20% or more per year on an investor's dollar, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal. Because the alternative for an investor is what? 401k, stocks, crypto, a few other things, IRA, Roth, right? Yeah. Where they're earning maybe 8-10% a year on their money. Some years better, some years worse, right? But it averages out. If you go into an apartment complex and you're getting 14 to 20% a year on your money, and you have very limited risk because it's a cash flowing asset that's tangible, and then we haven't even talked about the tax benefits yet that can wipe out your income taxes for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah.
It's the holy grail, right?
Yeah.
And,
So doing cost segregations on all these is the name of the game, building value in it, force appreciation.
Once people find out that it's not even about the it is, but the cash flow is like cool, profits are cool, but when they find out that they can wipe out their taxable income for the rest of their life, they're like, how is that legal? Yeah. And then you walk them through the process and they're like, holy cow, like sign me up. Right.
Yeah.
Because they just don't. Yeah.
Talking about, having somebody potentially partner as well as far as like personally guaranteeing, right? Usually you need somebody to personally guarantee it.
Well, most of the loans are not personally guaranteed. Most of them are what they call non-recourse loans.
Sure.
They're not personally guaranteed because remember, you're buying an asset that's existing.
Yep.
It's cash flowing, so the risk is limited for the bank. You're bringing in good, typically 30-35% down payment equity.
Yep.
So the bank is in a nice position where they typically aren't requiring personal guarantees on the loans. Sometimes they do, but it's at a limited amount.
Yeah.
Right? It just depends on the bank, whether the type of financing you're getting and so forth. But most of the time on apartment loans, it's non-recourse.
Okay. Justin, talk to me about the last couple of years. Once interest rates started going up, so many people bet on the rates at the end of the day. And so therefore, many people in the multifamily and syndication space got a good smack to the face. Yeah,
Clobbered, yeah, ass kick. Yeah,
yeah. All these good words for it.
Yeah.
All the good
adjectives.
I'm a part of one that there's already been 2 capital calls on it and still trying to get it resurrected in the next couple of years. And it's going to be a long shot.
Is that one in fixed rate debt or variable right now?
It's in fixed right now.
Okay. So they did get it in fixed rate. That's good.
But it's only for a certain period of time. So
yeah. How long?
For the next 18 months.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So I can tell you some fun stories.
Yeah, please. Yeah, come on.
So one deal we lost $800,000 on recently that we made the decision to walk away from.
Yep.
So, but just to kind of show you how this game works and how doing the right thing will pay dividends down the road. So yes, let's fast back to 2022 when interest rates began to go up in March of 2022.
Yep.
We had a deal. We were in escrow. We just went into escrow on a 200 unit, $33 million deal. And we had $500,000 hard at that point. That increased to $800,000 by the time we got through the escrow. And it was our money, me and another partner, right?
Yep.
So we don't risk investor money until we actually get ready to close.
Yep.
Everything up front was basically ours. But the deal started to get worse and worse and worse, right? In March, it's literally like every month the rates were going up, rates were going up, rates were going up. So the deal went from good to not so good to bad to like really bad to like I got to a point where I had to make a very difficult decision. Like, do we try and continue to put a square peg in a round hole?
Yep.
And force feed this thing with $12 million of investor money into it as well? Or do we make a call as a general partner in the deal to walk away, unfortunately leaving $800,000 hard liquid cash on the table and taking it in the shorts?
Yeah. It's a tough pill to swallow.
So, I pretty much didn't sleep for about a week and a half leading up to this kind of decision that we had to make.
Yeah.
But I made the call. I said, you guys, I can't consciously close on a deal knowing full well that in 24 months from now, we're right here.
Yep.
But now we have $12 million of investor money with us.
Yep.
And lose all their money. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so we made the call to walk away from $800,000, leave it on the table. And thank God we did.
Yeah.
Because that deal the keys would have been back to the bank.
Oh, yeah.
The good news is this: about 60 days after we made that decision, we came across an incredible deal in San Diego and National City.
Wow.
It was a completely off-market deal that came about through some other people and attorneys and stuff. And because of the way we handled ourselves in that deal, all the investors that had all their money set to go into that deal, they brought it over into this deal in San Diego that's now been a home run.
Come on.
And
how many units was that?
Goes to show you that, yes, very painful.
Yeah.
We did not have that $800,000 to lose. Trust me.
Yeah.
Not like we're sitting on gazillions over here.
Yeah.
But it was the right decision and it paid itself dividends tenfold. Right.
Come on.
And that's just one example, right? Another example of a deal that got hit because of when we bought it, closed on a deal in December 2021, 120 units in Texas. Everything's great, right?
Until it's
not. Rates start going up in March, April, right? We're right in the middle of renovations. Okay. So we have interest reserve and everything built into this thing.
Yep.
We're going through 2022 and I'm watching our interest reserve get sucked because now interest rates are going from 4.25% to now 9% for us. So we go from paying $48,000 a month to $98,000 a month, all within a 9-month window. And I'm watching our interest reserve get cut in half. So I'm sitting there going, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like if we don't get on this thing and get it renovated and rent it up like yesterday, we're going to run out of money and this thing's going back to the bank.
Wow.
Okay? So this goes to show you this is the difference. Some people will do this, some people won't. I made the decision to do it. I said, there's no way we're getting this thing across the finish line unless I move out to the property.
Wow.
So I made the decision to move out to the property and move into one of our model units for several months. And I worked day in and day out with the construction and the on-site team to get the renovations done, get it rented up to 98% occupied, get any delinquency and issues handled, get that thing to where it's operating correctly to now we can move from variable rate debt, which is what we were in, into a fixed rate loan with Fannie Mae to literally, I kid you not, get that thing squeezed across the finish line in July of 2023, 7 days before the 10-year treasury, which dictates interest rates, went through the roof.
Wow.
And we got into a 5.4% 10-year fixed rate loan 7 days before the 10-year treasury went bazonkers.
Yeah, skinny.
And
that's crazy.
It would have never happened had we not done that.
Yeah.
And that deal, even to this day, is still struggling a bit because now we got great debt. That's not the problem. The problem is now the market's changed on us.
Sure. Yeah.
So now we're seeing higher delinquency, higher vacancy, higher problems in that market. It's a short-term problem.
Yeah.
But it's causing massive, issues with the financials on the property.
Yeah.
And I'm fighting it tooth and nail, and we're still fighting it, right? And I'm in there dog fighting every month, every day with our team to keep this thing moving because I know it will get better. It will get better, but we have got to make strides to at least get this thing breaking even to get us to I guess, a better day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which a better day will come. We have we have fixed rate debt on it now. So we're in a good position. It's just, I need the market to be in a better position, which if all data points are in the right line, like I think they are, middle of next year,
nice.
We should be in a better position, but we got to be able to get there.
For sure. Yeah. Real estate isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It's not made for everybody, but especially when it comes down to these big syndications and when you're dealing with other people's money, right? Like you said, the appointment to that is so.
Listen, I fight for it like it's mine.
Yeah.
This is why we always have skin in our own games.
Sure.
We're always bringing in 10% of the equity.
Yeah.
So if it requires $1 million, we're bringing in $100,000. Yeah. And then we bring in the rest through the other people's money game.
Yep.
But we always have some skin in it. We're always fighting for it. We treat it like our own. And I know that's a cliche per se, but we do.
Yeah.
Because it's our brand, it's our reputation. And like there's a weird kind of internal thing because of what happened to my dad.
Yeah.
Right. And watching him, very good business person, made a ton of money, but then lost his ass. And it was because of over leverage. So we never over leverage any of our deals. Thank God. That's the only way we even got the refinance done on this one I'm talking about. Sure. We kept 65, we put 62% debt on it.
Wow.
It's the only way we got through it because we didn't over leverage and we got fixed rate debt and we focused on cash as king.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that go back to the financial crisis, years earlier. And I was scared to death of what happened to my dad. And I said, that's not happening to me again or ever.
Yeah. Come on.
So if we go do this, I'm going to build this on good foundation and fundamentals of apartment buildings and cash flow, right? Where I hedge against risk. It's wild, man. And even then you're susceptible, right?
Is that what you would say kind of your why behind doing this is, for other people and making sure that you don't repeat history, what happened previously in the family? Because this isn't for the lighthearted, right? Like losing sleep or having to move to, and I know you're a family man, so it's like being away from the family, being away from kids and wife, that's not easy for anybody, but you had to do it to get the job done. So why do all this? Why put yourself through it?
It's a great question. Look, there's a bigger purpose behind it. And we were chatting a little bit earlier about like people don't really care about what you do until they care about why you do it.
Yep.
For me, there's 3 big passions. One of them is the Tunnels to Towers organization. So that helps pay off the mortgages of spouses with kids left behind by their first responders from the line of duty. It started after 9/11. Yeah. So, husbands typically die, right? Whether it's paramedic, police officer, firefighter. That's how it started from 9/11. And so this organization would come in when the mother's left behind with these kids, and now she becomes the breadwinner and she's scared to death. Well, they come in and they pay off their mortgage and they give them a free and clear house. And so that gives her at least peace of mind, right? To help now get her feet under her as she has to go into the world now. And then it went into soldiers and stuff like that from, people out of going into war. So Tunnels to Towers, right? It's a big one for us that we give time and money to help give back. The other one is the SEAL Future Foundation. So that helps transition team guys, right? Navy SEAL guys from the SEAL world into the civilian world.
Sure.
And helping them get through the mental health problems, financial problems. Think about it. These are like the most elite people in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And they go from camaraderie and having all of this to like nothing because now they're out of the force and they lose it, right? They lose it and they don't know how to like function. And so it helps them do that. And so that's a big one for us because the level of suicide in the SEAL world is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's wrong.
And then the last one is one called Boys to Men. So that helps middle school age boys become men, right? And because they get lost in this process where there's a lot of resources for like babies and stuff. There's a lot of resources for older kids going from high school to college, but there's this kind of lost world for middle school age men to give them role models, to give them a belief system that, hey, there's more, right? You can get out of drugs and gangs and getting into that, how to respect women, give back to the mothers and like be good father, like that whole world of Boys to Men. And so that way they can rise and become good men in society, be leaders and masculine men and get out of like this whole treacherous world of gangs and violence and drugs and not realize there's a better opportunity in life and so forth. So we give time and energy and money to that. And so you ask like the big why. Yeah, you got business because that helps produce revenue. Yeah, I give back to my family. Sure. You get the media game through podcasting and helping, share this to the world.
Yep.
You have the education space, which is what you're doing too, to help people in what they want to do. Maybe people want to buy apartments. Maybe people want to help with credit and get into the financing world, which is what you do. But it's really for this, because if I have the resources and the time and the passive time to go give back to these other causes, that's what it's all. That's why I do it.
Come on. I love that. Tell me, what does life look like right now and moving forward? Any goals of how you want life to start looking in the future?
Yeah, so I'm blessed. I lead my day with gratitude and servitude every day. I'm a faith-based guy, so thanking God for everything I got and what I can give. I got divorced about 5 years ago. So for anybody that's been through that, devastating, right? Difficult, but I have an incredible, woman now in my life. She has 2 beautiful kids. So blending those families and, living that kind of, learning a lot about yourself when you go through that, whether that's therapy. I don't know if anybody's ever done hypnosis before, but holy cow, like that's incredible. You want to talk about shifting a belief system. Maybe you have some limiting beliefs that you're not even completely aware of. They're just completely subconscious. Dealing, hypnosis was mind-blowing. And then going through great therapy sessions to learn about this stuff and things that you're not even aware of as a human being to now lead, right? Be a leader. But that's been incredible to kind of change my mindset and how you handle things. My goal is to get to 10,000 units and $1 billion.
Wow.
In terms of like, if you want a financial metric, right?
Oh.
It's 10,000 units and $1 billion in assets in real estate. It's not for that per se, but my why now.
Yeah.
Right. Because if I can help spread the word, right, have the resources to give back, and whether that's through media to help explain what I do, or it's getting on stages to share my story that maybe helps some other people, or the education space where we're helping others buy their first or next apartment building, at the end of the day, it's like the bigger the legacy, I want people to remember my name.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not for like the name. It's for like, how many people are going to remember when you leave?
Yeah.
Right. And what kind of representation are you leaving for your kids?
Yeah.
So it is about that. It's about, when you have your day and your funeral, how many people are showing up? And then more importantly, what are they going to say? Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, he's a nice guy. Or is they going to be like, yeah, man, dude, I remember that time he helped me out with this, or, he helped me get to this point, or he gave me some great advice on this, or he was such a giver and a helper and a leader, stuff like that, right? That's what I want people to say.
Yeah. I love that. Talk to me, man. As we wrap this up, you just gave almost an hour of your time. Anything that the listeners or myself could do to give back to you?
I'm really just, follow me on YouTube if you can.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to build that up just to help give advice and things back to people on the YouTube channel. You can just literally go into Google or YouTube, type in Justin Brennan, maybe a multifamily, Justin Brennan multifamily. That'll pull us up, and subscribe and share. If you like it, if you don't like it, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But if you like it, share it and let the algorithm do its thing so we can get it out to more people. Because I think YouTube's a really amazing platform to provide long form content that people can share an hour or 10 minutes with you and experience you, right? Versus some of these short form clips on other, platforms that don't get really a chance for people to really dive in deep with you and understand how you can help them. Because my concept is this, and I went to Pepperdine University for college, right?
Sure.
It's a Christian school. And when you drive into the campus, at the top of the sign, it has a motto that says, freely ye give, freely ye receive, right? Freely ye give, freely ye receive. And it's the concept around, like, just freely give, man. Don't give with expectation of receipt. Freely you give, the universe will pay you tenfold back, man. Don't even worry about it.
Come on.
And so I lead that with everything, right? Overly give, just give it out. Trust me, you're not hiding anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. And people will feel that, and the universe will pay you tenfold.
I love that. How else can the members or listeners right now actually be able to connect with you and reach out? Just YouTube? Or
YouTube's a great one. Obviously, Instagram, they can go to find me. I think it's official Justin Brennan on Instagram. Those are the two platforms to keep it easy for folks. But YouTube's going to be the best one because we have everything that links from there. So
nice. Any other final thoughts that you would say to somebody that's on the fence about getting started in a multifamily, maybe limited beliefs around it?
Yeah, you got a lot of folks that do hold themselves back because they don't know how to get started. The two biggest ones that typically hold people back is, I don't know how to find good deals.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how to put the money together and finance and capitalize it, right?
Yeah.
And I think I need a ton of money, right? So I'd say the three false belief patterns I hear a lot is, I need a lot of money to get started. That's not the case. You can literally go buy a 10 to 30 unit apartment building in the next 90 days with probably $30,000 out of pocket. I kid you not.
Crazy.
Okay.
Wow.
Number one. Number two, you need to be an expert, right? You can't be a newbie. You need to be an expert in that space. You don't. I was a moron when I got started. I learned everything.
Yeah.
Right. Everything.
Yeah.
It was a learned skill set, which is an extremely valuable skill set when you're trying to get started, right?
Yep.
Think about it for a minute. If you have the ability to find deals, analyze them, put them together, financially structure, legally and financial, close and manage.
Yep.
You are extremely valuable to people with money.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people with money that don't want to do the work.
Yep.
That if you have this skill set to go do the work and you're willing to do it, you get paid beautifully.
Oh yeah.
I just showed people last night on one of my free trainings how for $19,000 out of pocket, I made $590,000.
Come on.
And they're like, that's crazy. I said, well, here's how you do it. And they're like, how are you able to do it? I said, you have to understand, I have a skill set. It's like a neurosurgeon for apartments, right? There's a reason why neurosurgeons get paid so much money, right? They're helping solve very valuable problems.
Yep.
No different than a hedge fund manager. You're solving $1 million problems, which is why you get the chance to make millions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
You're not doing the syndication game to make pennies.
Yeah.
You're doing it to potentially make millions. So that's why you do it, right? And then people can leave a 9 to 5. Maybe they want more time and freedom and family and stuff. Yeah, you're going to move that needle from kind of that 9 to 5 world, if you want to, into more of this creator world of a business owner and investor. And because of that, you get the chance for more passive money.
Come on. I love that. You guys heard it here first. At the end of the day, Justin said, like, he felt like a moron when he first got started. You're not going to have it all dialed in. So you're going to feel like a moron as well when you first get going. And that's okay. The more that you do it, you're going to get more confidence, more boldness, and the education being, dialed in with that stuff. Get a mentor like Justin to be able to dial it in, get your questions answered, get the confidence, have faith in the process, and watch how it blesses you at the end of the day. I love it.
Right.
Appreciate you, Justin, so much for jumping on today. Guys, go follow him right now. Check out his YouTube channel and IG as well. Reach out to him. He's a wealth of knowledge and doing some amazing things. So you're definitely going to want to reach out and connect with him and share the love. And if you want to connect with me, you can always do so on Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, check out our business page on Instagram. It's Credit Counsel Elite. Otherwise, if you are looking for funding, we can show you how to do that. I'm talking up to $500,000 with rates as low as 0% by simply going to creditcounselelite.com. That's www.creditcounselelite.com. There's a quick 10-minute video on there that explains more about what the heck I'm talking about, how it could potentially serve you. And then afterwards, you can book a call with either myself or somebody on our team to be able to get a better understanding of what that roadmap looks like and if it's a good fit for yourself.
Love it.
With that being said,
Dude, I maybe be giving you a call. Maybe we need some funding.
Yeah, come on, baby. Let's go.
I love
With
it.
that being said, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, and we'll catch you on the next episode every single Monday. Leave that 5-star review. Greatly appreciate all the love, all the support lately. You guys are amazing. Keep it coming, and we'll catch you on the next one. Justin, appreciate you, brother.
You bet. Thank you.
God bless, guys. See ya.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.